Hello everyone, welcome to this special live video celebrating Narc Survivor, 7 years on YouTube. We've come a long way from back in the day when I was just sitting in my apartment in Wales in the UK, just using my old laptop, which I had for about 3 years already. I think it was just a cheap Acer laptop. I had it for maybe about £250. And I was inspired to create some videos on this type of content. So I had enough belief in myself to then go and purchase a £20 microphone on Amazon. So I gave it a go and got some images of Pixabay. But what's most important is, I invested the time into researching about narcissistic abuse. I was watching these videos every day for hours a day. So it was very important to me. And I had already been watching the videos since February 2018. And then by August the 16th, 2018, that's when I uploaded the first video. The narcissist doesn't want you to look good or feel good. That was the first video that I uploaded, and all of my videos, they are still up to date. You could just go to the channel page and arrange the videos from oldest, and then you can see all of my earliest work. And yeah, even some of my first videos, I watch them myself from time to time, and it really amazes me just how much I knew back then. But yeah, this is it, 7 years later. 7 years after that day, August the 16th, 2018, when I put up my first video. And many of you, you've been with me since the beginning. You've seen me grow from back then when I was 29 years old, and I'm now 36. So you've seen me along my journey. You've seen me grow. And you've seen me travel as well around the world. So yeah, I'm sure it was inspiring for you as well to see me grow, to see me evolve into the man that I've become through all of my work, all of my dedication. But yeah, let's not make it all about me. Thank you to all of you, all of my viewers, my subscribers. Without you, I could have never made it this far. It wouldn't be possible without the viewers, the subscribers, with everything that you have contributed to this channel in views, donations, just everything. And yeah, together we made this milestone, 7 years on YouTube, spreading the awareness of narcissistic abuse, waking people up. And who even knows how many people we have saved, protected from abusive relationships, and how many suicides we may have prevented. Because with narcissists, they like to push people to the edge. So we've done some really great work. But of course, this is only the beginning. This is not us coming to the end, no. This is only the beginning. We're going to keep going with the narcissist content. I have some great ideas coming up. And there's going to be videos, there's going to be topics regarding narcissistic abuse. Topics that I've never spoken about before. And they're going to be some of the most relatable videos that you've ever seen. And it's all going to make a lot more sense to you. It's going to make us all feel so much more connected together. It's going to change everything when I put out these new videos. It's going to be very different to anything else I've ever done before. And not only that, as you may have noticed, all of the gang stalking videos I've been putting out have been very popular. And yeah, it's only the beginning for the gang stalking content. I'm going to keep going with that, and the channel is going to keep growing. Possibly by the beginning of October, we will already hit 200,000 subscribers. I'm still going on TikTok as well. I think I've been doing TikTok now for, it's got to be about 5 years on TikTok. And also the company, Narc Survivor Ltd. It's a registered company in the UK. That company now has been going for over 4 years. And let me just clear out these trolls, sorry about that. Yeah, the company has been going for over 4 years now. And there has been a lot of fees that I pay every year in order to keep the company going. Like for the website, the domain name, subscriptions. And of course, you know, there's accountant fees. There's just so much that it takes to keep, you know, the company on the company register in the UK. And again, you know, I have to thank you all for your contributions. Because honestly, I don't know if I could have kept the company going without you, without your donations. Because of course, you know, I myself, I also need money to survive. I have to pay for my rent for where I stay, and for my food every day, and to take care of Nala. So without your contributions, without your donations, I honestly don't know. I mean, I remember last year, I was really struggling at that time. And I don't know if I could have covered the subscription fee. And even now, I mean, because I've had very difficult accountants who just seem to wait till the last minute to submit my accounts, I end up with all of these fees. And even now at the moment, I'm paying off a £900 penalty to Companies House. And I'm having to pay it in installments, £180 every month. And I've got the second payment coming up in about a couple of weeks. And again, you know, who knows, would I be able to cover that if it wasn't thanks to you and all of your donations and watching the ads on my videos as well, because that's also very helpful. If you just let some of the ads run all the way through sometimes, that really helps to add to the revenue for me. And it helps me to cover the costs. And of course, you know, it also helps me to keep going myself, to take care of myself, and to provide for Nala. And as you know, this is my full-time work. This is my business. And with the ad revenue and the donations there to support me, it allows me to dedicate all of this time. Because of course, you know, if you watch my videos, you will know I put in hours of work every day into the editing to just make the most engaging videos that I can. are the most relatable videos. But yeah, what have I learned? What have I learned in these 7 years? You can see most of what I've learned in my videos. You can see how they've evolved over that time. I would say that at this point, I still believe that narcissists cannot heal. Their behaviors can be managed through intensive therapy. And that's if they have the motivation behind it. But even then, it's going to be self-motivated. At least that's what I believe. And I still think that no contact is the best option. Getting further involved with them, it's not going to help anything. It's not going to make anything better for you. When you're dealing with narcissists, the only way it's going to be any good for you is if it's short term. But when things start getting serious, when there needs to be commitment, responsibility, they just can't do it. And they can't be vulnerable, they can't connect. And so it's going to be harmful to you because you're not a narcissist, you're not a sociopath, psychopath. So of course, if you're around someone who can't even be vulnerable, who can't connect, who can't be responsible, accountable, who can't even connect to themselves, that's going to be a problem for you. And it's going to cause a lot of harm to you because, you know, we are social creatures. So if someone else can't meet you there, if they can't be that as you're being for them, it's going to leave you with a short end of the stick, and it's going to be a problem for you. It's going to be harmful. And that's why no contact is always best. But if you can't go no contact, go limited contact. And if you have to stay in contact because of the children, use a parenting app. But yeah, as for you, healing is possible. I've always said that healing is possible for victims, survivors of narcissistic abuse. I've always said that. And even to this day, after everything I've learned, I still believe that it's always possible. And I don't think there is ever really an exception where healing wouldn't be possible. As long as you're still alive, you're still breathing, you're still conscious, you can heal. But I know for some of you, you've been through so much with narcissists. It's like your mind is in a whirlwind. You can't think straight. It's like you can't even remember who you are anymore, what means anything to you. You just feel down, depressed. You feel like nothing's ever going to get better. That's how it feels after you're around them. You just give up on yourself, you give up on life, you become so depressed, you feel miserable. You just think, what's the point in living anymore sometimes? At least that's how I felt. I definitely felt that way. After being around these types of people, I just felt, what's the point? What am I even doing here? What's the point of even being alive? And I know many of you have felt that way at some point. And it's because it's a projection. You didn't feel that way before. You felt that way after being around them. You used to love life. You used to have so much passion. That's who you are. And that's just it. You got to remember that. You got to hold on to it. Remember who you are. And stop taking that on, how they feel about themselves. They hate themselves. That's why they wear a mask. That's why they use a false character. You don't. You loved, accepted yourself. You had so much hope and belief in them. That's what drew them to you. You validated the illusion. They couldn't even validate it themselves. And you just got to hold on to that. You have to summon that energy from within and direct it towards where you want to go, what you want to do, and let that guide you. Let that heal you. But of course, it's not always just mystics of the mind. Talk therapy is helpful as well. Speak to a therapist or coach who understands, someone who you can trust. And of course, I am available for you. You can book with me anytime on my website, narcsurvivor.co.uk. But yeah, it all starts with your self-love. And this is it, this is the catch-22, this is the paradox. Sometimes it just feels like, what, self-love? How can I love myself? I'm no good, I'm bad, I'm crazy. That's what I've been told for all of this time. But that's just it, they brainwashed you. That's the only way that they could keep you trapped under their control, where they could continue using you as their supply, as their validation, to give them a sense of superiority. So you have to brainwash yourself back into loving yourself again, because you are worthy of love, just as you loved yourself before. Authentically, rather than with a narcissist where they just love a false character. You were deeply connected to yourself. And that's what drew them to you, your authenticity. They wanted that to be theirs. So yeah, it all starts by coming back within, coming back to yourself. And just trying to admire at least one thing about yourself every day. Or you could even pick one physical thing that you like about your appearance or your body. And then you can pick another thing regarding maybe how good you are at reading or writing. Or maybe with sports, just certain qualities or abilities that you have. And you just reaffirm this every day. You read out positive affirmations, get back to regaining your confidence. And that also comes by finding that stability in yourself again. Because of course, when you're around narcissists, it's all very chaotic. It's like you don't know which way is up or down or left or right. It's very confusing in their world. It's very complex, difficult, complicated, because they're screwed up in their minds. And when you get around them, unfortunately, that's what happens to us as well. It messes us up. So we have to relearn everything to come back to who we were before. And yeah, it can be done. It takes time, but you will heal. You just have to put the work in. Keep educating yourself on this. Don't be afraid to go deeper into it. For us, if we go deeper into it, sometimes we do find a key to the door that takes us out of the mental maze. And this is it, you know, the more that you keep finding that key every time that they lock you in it, the more that it reinforces this in your mind, and it becomes a skill. Well, there used to be a time, and I remember myself, there used to be a time, many years ago now, but I would be locked in it for not just hours, days, weeks, just trapped in anxiety, depression, loneliness, and just needing answers. I know what that's like. And it's like your entire world, your entire life revolves around them. You can't even think straight, and the only thing that clears your mind is when they're there and when they just make you feel validated, seen, even if it's only for a moment. I understand. And it took me a very long time to develop the skill where I'm able to find the key in this mental maze and unlock it, get myself out of it. It took a very long time for me to be able to do that. And this is it, you know, when you watch these videos, and I would say especially my videos, because, you know, the way that I talk about these topics, I'm really giving you the keys in my videos. Like when the narcissist does or says certain things, it traps you, confuses you. And I'm giving you that key, that way out in each video. And this is it. This is part of what we're going to be going into. Because I know that many of you, you're stuck in confusion. You're stuck in anxiety, depression. And why? It's because maybe there was a certain moment, a certain conversation. The narcissist said certain things to you, or they did something that was unexpected. Something that you couldn't figure out, you couldn't understand, and it locked you in there. And this is how it is, you know, sometimes you watch all the videos and it never gets you out of it, you never feel better. Because while, you know, it's explaining what the narcissist is like and why they do the things they do, it's not really getting to the core of the issue. It's not so much like, this is why they said that. This is why they did this. This could be the problem sometimes, so that's why I'm going to be going deeper into narcissism topics, so we can really discuss specifically, this is why they said that. This is why they did this. And I think many of you are going to be very surprised, because, you know, there's certain things that they may have done, and you may have been thinking that it's just you. And other narcissists, they don't do that to their victims. They don't say those things. So it's going to surprise a lot of you, and it's going to reveal to you that you're not alone in this. Apologize for the noise. These losers, they follow me and harass me wherever I go. But yeah. Because this is it, you know, there's certain things that narcissists say or do, especially if it's repeatedly, and it causes you to feel confused, humiliated. You may feel fear, guilt, shame. And it makes you think, you know, this is so weird what I'm going through. Is this just me? Do narcissists do this to everyone? And most of the time, I'm sure many of you are thinking that it is just you. You probably think, but, you know, this is so weird. This is probably something that if I talked about it online, no one would understand. people would think I'm crazy just for talking about it. But this is it. I'm going to start making these new topics to show you that no, you're not crazy. You're not alone. There are plenty of other people out there who have experienced that exact same thing. The narcissist has said or done the exact same thing to them. Many of you are going to be very surprised when you see the new content and when you see the amount of views that it gets. So that's the direction that we're heading towards. Going into deeper, more specific topics. But yeah, let me know if you have anything that you'd like to share regarding this 7-year anniversary on YouTube. Let us know when you first joined us, or if you're new here. Anything you'd like to say, let me know in the live chat below. And yeah, 7 years on YouTube, it's a huge accomplishment to make it this far, because as many of you know, I've been through a lot of things. I've been going through intensive 24-hour gang stalking since 2016. Never had a break. And despite that, I've still managed to keep putting out videos every day. And in 7 years, I've got over 5,000 videos on YouTube. So put in a lot of work. Denise says, I think like 2020 I seen you. Yeah, 2020, 2021, that's when my channel really started to grow. But then I faced a lot of gang stalking, sabotage. So I was really struggling then, and then after that point as well. But back then the channel was getting really big, and I was really starting to have the resources where I could have done some really big projects. I could have done like live events and just all kinds of things. I mean, I had the resources at that point where I could have started to bring more awareness to communities and do things like in schools and just all kinds of things. I mean, I could have had a really great impact on the world there, because I was making some huge revenue at that time. After all of the work I put in and all of the views I was getting, I think at that point, just before they sabotaged me, I must have been earning about close to $20,000 a month. But then they blew it all up, they sabotaged me, so then I had to start again. And at this point now, my revenue's pretty small. It's only like maybe $1,500 a month that I earn at the moment. So it's a bit of a struggle for me. I'm still using the same laptop that I've had now for 3.5 years, that I've taken around the world with me. And also my microphone is about 4 or 5 years old. And luckily I got a new phone though. My father helped me to get a new phone, but I had to because in Manila a few weeks ago, as I mentioned, my phone was stolen. But yeah, I'm going to keep going, and more views are coming in, and hopefully we can get the revenue up to a certain level where I can then get a new laptop and just keep putting out good content, keep on improving the quality of the work. And who knows, maybe one day we can actually do something big. And because, this is everywhere, narcissism, people are being manipulated, exploited, and it's unfair. And, that's one thing I don't like, when I see that, when I see people who really just deserve better, as we all do, and yet they're being lied to, they're being manipulated, deceived, but they're then settling for less than what they really deserve. And yeah, that just really winds me up, But thankfully, with this information out there, people are starting to realize, that they're doing everything for this person, and they're getting practically nothing back. Like, what's in it for you? And this is what we got to ask ourselves sometimes, is what are we getting out of this? Biggie says, targeted since 2018. Yeah, there seems to be more and more targets these days of gang stalking. It's becoming more and more common. Honestly, I dread to think how many targets there actually are, because if you look at how many views these videos get on YouTube, and I would assume that most of the targets, they probably don't even research about it. Because that's usually how it is. The George says, my PC is almost 8 years old, but I have upgraded parts a tiny bit. 8 years old, God, yeah, you should get a new one. Leaving it that long. Sometimes it's actually cheaper if you change it every 2 or 3 years, because after that it loses a lot of value. But if you sell it and then you use the money to buy a new one, you could be better off that way as well. I mean, for me, back at the beginning, when I first started on the channel, well, after like maybe 1 year, I had my first Alienware. I think I bought 3 or 4 Alienware laptops, different models and colors, and also 3 iPhones I purchased. Actually, I think 4 iPhones that I purchased myself. And this was yearly. Every year they were coming out with a new Alienware. They were updating it. And of course, every year there's a new iPhone. But then, after everything that I went through, all of the sabotage and losing my income, well, the last iPhone that I purchased, that was in, I think it was 2022. So that was about 3 years ago. And then only recently my father helped me to get a new iPhone, only because that iPhone was robbed. And also my laptop now I've had for 3.5 years. Since January 2022. So it's been quite a while since then. But yeah, I used to be on it every year. You know, it was very important to me, my work. It was always the most important thing to me in my life, is to make sure I upgrade my equipment every year. Got to have the latest Alienware laptop, the latest iPhone with the maximum capacity, the Pro Max. That was always the priority to me. And constantly upgraded my microphones, my earphones, everything. You can see all of it on my Instagram. If you look back at some of my earlier posts, I'm always upgrading my equipment. My work, my videos, my audience, I take it all very seriously. You're all very important to me. Your experiences, the abuse that you've gone through, just your lives in general, your families, your work. I take it all very seriously. And that's why, you know, I invested so much of my earnings back into the channel. I'm not just going out having a good time, traveling. I invested a ton of money into the equipment, upgrading it constantly. And of course, you know, subscription fees, everything, and traveling so I can, you know, make some really good videos as well. I've made some really good videos in just so many different areas, locations. And also I put on my Instagram as well to show you that it is possible to move on from a narcissist, to heal, and to just enjoy life again. Because I gotta say, you know, after everything I went through, there was a time where I thought that I would never be able to enjoy life again, that I would never be happy again. There was a time when I felt that way. I thought that was it for me. I thought it's never gonna get better. This is it. But then, you know, I got to travel the world, see so many places. I never thought I would get to travel the world. I never thought that I would get to drive luxury cars and make videos in them, and take my cat traveling as well, stay in nice hotels, villas, and make videos there too. I never thought I would ever get to have an Alienware laptop. I remember, you know, this was back when I was in college. And back then I knew about Alienware, and I really wanted one. I used to dream about having an Alienware laptop. And I asked my father if I could get one, but he said it was too expensive. And this was 16, 17 years ago, maybe more. Back then, I always dreamed of having an Alienware laptop because I didn't really have much else to do at that time. I didn't have many friends. I didn't really get to go out anywhere. So, yeah, I wanted to have a cool laptop. But hey, eventually, you know, I started doing these videos on YouTube, worked very hard at it, and then I managed to buy my own. I managed to buy 3 or 4 of them. But even the small things, you know, that I could do. It's like all of a sudden I could go to the supermarket. I could buy the chocolate that I want, that I could never have before, even though, you know, like chocolate that's like maybe £2-3. I could have that now. I could have pizza. I could just have the things that I want. Cakes. That I developed this confidence in myself, and I thought, I can be something. And I wanted to purify myself, detox. And I did. I became a vegan, and I have been since then. And I did all of these different detoxes. I had a spiritual awakening. Yeah, it changed everything for me. It really did. It's like for the first time in my life, just to have people believing in me. You gave me confidence in myself when I uploaded my videos, and you supported me throughout it, through your comments, your likes. And this isn't like just people liking and commenting on like some girl's photo on Instagram or something. I mean, this is a true emotional depth for me. Like things that mean something to me, and when I'm talking about my own experiences. So to have that validated, it changed everything for me. And that's when I really started to grow. Because before that time, it's like I was emotionally stunted myself. I was very immature because I never really had that emotional connection, validation. But yeah, I got that from many of you, and it gave me confidence. It really did. But real confidence, with depth and substance, which then pushed me, drive me to go deeper and make more videos. Yeah, you all really changed my life completely. As I've said before, I honestly don't know where I would be if it wasn't for you guys. If it wasn't for your support, your views, watching the ads, donations, booking one-on-ones. Who knows? Maybe I'd still be stuck in that same apartment where I was when I was 29, 7 years ago. Maybe I'd still be there. Just playing on my Xbox every day, now and again, going to the gym, going to the supermarket, and that's about it. That's my life. But fortunately, there has been more to my life than just that. And more to Nala's life as well. My dream was to get Nala out of the apartment, take her traveling, and we did it together. Nala has had an amazing 8 years so far, traveling around different countries, seeing all of the different plants, trees, animals, everything, different climates. And that was the most amazing thing for me, to see Nala running around in the jungle, chasing after the cats, the dogs, everything. Oh, she loved it. She's had a great time. But she's getting ready to go back now to the UK. At least for now. And who knows, maybe at some point in the future, if I can increase my revenue again, I'd love to take her traveling again. I just have to be careful if I do get sabotaged again, because, this is what happens, is it becomes very difficult, and Nala gets stranded, and then I can't go anywhere as well. But for now, you know, it's time for Nala to go back. And at some point in the near future, Nala will be back in the videos. Just trying to get her back to the UK. And she has a toy waiting for her. I think it's a scratch and post from one of our sponsors. But yeah, it's incredible, you know, when I really think about it and I look back, everything I've experienced, it's unbelievable. I can't even believe it myself. You know, the same guy that I am, just sitting in the apartment, like I am now. I'm just sitting on the couch. I'm just playing on my Xbox every day. And then one day I find about narcissistic abuse from Sam Vaknin. And then I start watching more videos. And then someone from Malaysia, she recommended that I start making my own videos. And so I did. And then I'm just putting out this work. I'm really into it myself, you know, I'm really passionate about it. It becomes like the most important thing to me in my life. Once I find out about it, it just wakes me up. So I'm putting out these videos, and then a few months go by. Well, 6 months goes by, and already I'm making a full-time income from YouTube. And then a few more months go by, and then I'm making a lot of money. And then suddenly I can start renting cars, I can start traveling, everything. It was crazy. It was incredible, the way that it just blew up. It's like I went from rags to riches. Like literally, because I remember back then, it's like all of my t-shirts, my underwear, they were all torn, they were old, everything. And then all of a sudden, I could buy new clothes, I could buy new trainers, everything. It was crazy. I could actually eat what I want. I could have takeaways, chocolates. And Nala as well. I used to have to buy all the cheap stuff for Nala, then I could buy the good stuff for her. Yeah, it was just an incredible experience for me. And I know for all of you, you know, you were all with me as I was putting out the content, and together we were all growing, we were all learning, becoming more aware. And we did it. And this is it, you know, there may never be a time like that again in the narcissistic abuse community. Like how we had it back then, 2018, 2019, and even going into 2020, 2021. Definitely, you know, throughout those 3 years, that was the highlights of it all. Memories we made together. And unfortunately, a lot of those creators from back then, they no longer make videos now. It's all of these algorithms. The content is nothing like what it used to be. And not just the content, just the vibe that we had together. Well, there was just a few creators on YouTube talking about this. It was completely different. Before the word narcissist got out of context, and we were all just learning about it together. It was such a special time to share with all of you. But yeah, you know, it's not over. Just look at the gang stalking videos. We are coming back in a big way. I mean, it's incredible, you know, the amount of views these videos are getting. Not that it isn't great content, you know, I put a lot of work into it. I just mean, it's amazing how many people resonate with it. You know, there really is a demand for this content. And it's like we're just doing it again. Same thing with the narcissism content. Now we're doing it with gang stalking, another niche. And that's really the focus now. And it, you know, this is it. This is what feels so good for me personally. It's just knowing that I'm waking people up. I just love that more than anything. It's an incredible feeling for me to know that I'm doing good in the world. Just like when I first started with the narcissistic abuse content, it just felt so good to know that I'm putting this information out there. And people are waking up. People are raising their vibration. People are happier, more aware, more peaceful. That's the best thing about it for me. And that's how it feels so good for me to put out this gang stalking content. You know, it's so much more than just like some ego boost from the views. It's so much deeper than that. It's because I know that I'm doing good. And yeah, this is it, you know, don't let people invalidate the content. Because there are gang stalkers in the comment section, they're trying to do that. But no, you know, these people, we are real targets. We are really going through it. We are really being harassed. And we have to support each other. And anyone who tries to go against it, if they're really just coming at it, attacking us, they don't want to listen, they are the enemy. They are the opposition. So we cannot listen to them. We cannot let them gaslight us. Because you know what you've been through. We are being harassed. Don't let them rewrite history of what you've experienced, what you've been through. What you've been through is real. But yeah. This is it. This is our channel. This is our brand, Narc Survivor. Been going now for 7 years today, August the 16th. And you can support the channel as well through our merchandise. We have t-shirts, hoodies, leggings, socks, everything available through our Teespring store. I created all of the designs myself. And also my Instagram, you can follow me. It is narcsurvivor.co.uk. And that's also our website as well. I have a blog on there. Many articles for narcissistic abuse. And I will be putting new articles up on there every day, very soon. Also, the Facebook group is called Narc Survivor. New videos on there every day. Give this video a thumbs up. Let's get it out there. Let's celebrate together this amazing milestone that we all achieved. 7 years on YouTube. Drop a comment down below. Let's start a discussion. I read your comments every day. If you're new here, subscribe and hit the notification bell so that you will be notified when I go live again. If you'd like to book a one-on-one, you can do that on my website. It is narcsurvivor.co.uk. And I do appreciate your donations, no matter how small. You can donate by going to paypal.me/narcsurvivor. So yeah, that's it for this one. Only thing I can say really is that I am quite disappointed that Nala cannot be here. It's a shame Nala can't be here to celebrate. If she was here, I would buy her some special treats as well for our celebrations. But who knows, maybe for next year, for our 8th year, I should be back in the UK by then. And maybe I'll get some decorations, everything. I will actually have a real party with Nala. And I'll dress up for it as well, like I used to. I'll wear a shirt, everything. So, yeah. Stay tuned for that next year. The 8th year celebration. Anyway, thank you all. I appreciate your support. And I look forward to speaking with you in another live video very soon.